California didn't track effects of $24 billion in homelessness spending. Top line, California spent $24 billion in the past 5 years to address its homeless crisis, but no one is sure if the huge investment had any impact. I'm going to read that again. This is not Fox News. This is not the Daily Wire. This is not Breitbart. It's none of those right-wing sites. I have a Fox News article, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. This is from Real Clear Investigations. Top line, California spent $24 billion in the past 5 years to address its homelessness crisis, but no one is sure if the huge investment had any impact. Key facts. A new state audit found that the California Interagency Council on Homelessness stopped tracking whether its programs working in June 2021 and has no consistent way of measuring the outcomes of its spending. They just stopped tracking it. They just stopped tracking it. Here's all this money. We're going to use it. We're going to tax the clothes off of Californians, but we are going to just not only mismanage the money, we're going to lose track of the money. And on top of that, we don't even know if all the money that we've spent is even doing anything. Only 2 of the 5 programs analyzed in the audit are likely cost effective. The other 3 have not collected enough data to show that their initiatives are useful. This is your money, California. This is your money. This is your money being put to use. How is it being put to use? Well, we have no idea. How can I say we have no idea? Because it's showing that they don't know. They lost the money. They lost the money, and they don't know if it even worked. Going back to a Fox News article, and I use this article because it's important. Blue state Dems turn on governor as homeless council can't account for $20 billion in spending. This is from May 10th. Some California Democrats are turning on their Golden State leader after Governor Gavin Newsom's homelessness council failed to track whether billions of dollars spent on curbing the homelessness crisis were successful in the last 5 years. You come to a budget committee and there's no numbers. Democratic Assembly member Phil Ting said to Newsom's housing and homelessness officials during Monday's budget committee hearing, "How many people have we helped? How many people are off the street?" Because that's what people want to know. This is not someone on the right. This is someone on the Democratic left. This is a person on the left just saying, is what we're doing working? Where is the money? What's going on here? He said, because that's what people want to know. A California Interagency Council on Homelessness, or the CICH, executive responded that they're dealing with, quote, data quality issues, end quote. So metrics are not yet available for more than $20 billion for how more than $20 billion was spent since the council's inception. We're working expeditiously, Executive Officer Megan Marshall said. And how does Tang respond? What does that mean, though? We spent billions of dollars, and you can't tell us how many people we've helped. That is absolutely fascinating. That's absolutely. And listen to this. Megan Kirkby, Deputy Director of the California Department of Housing and Community Development, told lawmakers in the committee that the state didn't previously require them to track its progress on spending or the viability of its programs, adding it's not, quote, something to be proud of. They were never told to track its progress. Oh, okay, here's a bunch of money. Here's a bunch of money. I'm going to give it to you. And I'm not going to ask you what you're going to do with it. I'm not going to keep track of that. Don't worry about that. Just use the money. In my daily job, I oversee a good amount of money. Every single dollar that is used, that goes in or out of my program, is tracked. Now, I'm nowhere near $20 billion that I'm overseeing. 20 billion is an insane number. If my register is short, even just $5, I have to report that to my to my upper management. I have to do that. But $20 billion, where'd it go? We don't know. We don't know. I ask you, regular American, regular Californian, can you go onto your job if you're responsible for any kind of money? I'm talking whether you're a cashier or anything where you handle money. Can you just lose track of a lot of money and keep your job? Any person in the private sector, whether you work for a bank, whether you worked in an armored truck and you go to pick up money from different retail locations, or whether you're the CEO of a business, can you just lose track of this much money and keep your job and not undergo intense scrutiny? $20 billion. This is the man they want to be their candidate in 2028. This is the one that they want to say, he's going to put us over the top. We want him in office. We want him in the White House in 2028. This is the man that they want. I'm not saying this is all, the $20 billion is all Gavin Newsom's fault, but how can that kind of leadership even be trusted if we can, that $20 billion, $20 billion. If I were to just lose a few $1,000s, I would lose my job. If not by that day, I'd lose my job by probably the end of the week, most likely. CICH, the blue state's hub for coordinating the state's homeless programs, shifted blame to local cities last month in an email response to Fox News' digital inquiry about the failure to track the money. A senior spokesperson said municipalities, quote, are primarily responsible for implementing these programs and collecting data on outcomes that the state can use to evaluate program effectiveness. As the state faces a significant budget deficit that must be worked out by a July deadline, both Republicans and Democrats in the legislature fear the audit's findings could interfere with multiple city requests for more funding to address the homeless crisis. California is ground zero for the most homeless people in the nation, with more than 180,000 people living on the streets. I've seen it firsthand. I know how bad it is over there. And I can only imagine since I've left, it's gotten worse. In a bombshell report last month, the state auditor found that nine state agencies have collectively spent $24 billion in state funding over the past 5 years in administering at least 30 programs dedicated to tackling the homelessness crisis. And the auditor said that Newsom's Homeless Council is responsible for coordinating, developing, and evaluating the efforts of these 9 agencies. The state's independent audit noted CICH is required by law to report its finances related to all state-funded homelessness programs, but that it stopped doing so in 2021. So it's gone 3 years. It has gone 3 years of just not tracking where the money went. Now, they're still taxing Californians. You better believe it. You better believe it. You're still getting taxed exorbitant amounts of money. Your dollar's taxed 18 million ways over there. And all the money they take from you, they just, well, where'd it go? Well, we don't know. Well, you say it's going towards homelessness, right? Yes, it is. Is it working? We don't know. We don't know. Obvious. We already know that the answer is no. Homelessness has never been a money issue in terms of the state trying to figure things out. It's not a money issue. You know why? Because if it's a money thing, then that would mean the more money that you spend towards this issue, the problem should decrease. It should be negatively correlated. More money ultimately equals less homelessness. That's what it should mean.